Hi guys, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. I just want to say quickly that we're almost at 1,000 subscribers. So please, if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed to the channel and you get value from the channel, please just click on the subscribe button. I'll be totally grateful. So in this video, I just did a summary of all the Chevening tips that I've gotten from the scholars I interviewed in July and August to help you as you prepare for the application which opened on the 3rd of September 2020. So enjoy the video and please click on the subscribe button. Please guys, let's get to 1,000 subs. Thank you.
Research. Read. Also make sure that the things they will require. So for example, you should have done at least 2 years of work post first degree. Make sure you have that. So what I'll say is that just make sure that in the scheme of things about the basic requirements that Chevening requires, you have to make sure you've ticked all the boxes.
And since I know people who have gotten this opportunity as well, I need to make great use of that. Before, I'd definitely gone through the website and read everything that they had there, but also it was good to have, that talk from your friend, because they've gone through the process. They know it very well. They know the ups and the downs and everything.
Reach out to people who've gone through these programs, and don't just reach out to anyone, because not everyone who has gone through the program is willing to put in the time to help you out. So be keen on the person you're reaching out to.
Talk to people who have had the experience and just ask them the hard questions. Ask them, and don't think that any question is stupid. You might never know. One simple question you ask is the one that will unlock a lot of the questions or opportunities you're looking for. And so no experience is useless. No exposure is useless. There'll always be a time where something that you even thought was not going to be beneficial, that is what you rely on.
This time around, I would say I started very early. I started to prepare myself very early. I think like 2 months in advance. So I even watched YouTube videos. I watched your YouTube videos. I watched some YouTube videos from some Nigerian guys from the community, the Chevening community, which were very, very helpful in terms of just preparing you psychologically for what's to come, what the road looks like, in terms of the mock interviews and all that, and even how to prepare your essays. So that was the journey, and I'd say it was a back and forth. So I'd write my essays, and then I'd send them to Brian. He'd look through them. He'd send them back and tell me, okay, this is what I think you need to change here and here.
When I started the application, or when the applications opened, every time I closed from work and I went home, I spent at least 2 hours reading about the scholarship, about what it required of me. Sometimes when I did all that and I got all the information, once I started applying, every time I got to the house after work, I'll spend 2 hours working on my essays. Even if it was just one paragraph that I wrote for that 2 hours, I felt it was like an incremental, what's the word? You're making progress.
Incremental.
So rather than waiting till it's just about 1 month or 3 weeks to the deadline where you'll be putting unnecessary pressure on yourself, you start early. You can write one paragraph a day, or let's say you can give yourself certain little tasks. Okay, today I want to make sure I write 200 words a day. It is better than waiting till last few weeks.
Actually, I had like lots of regrets. And anytime I got regrets, my friend used to ask me like, what's wrong, Steven? You're the best. I think I couldn't imagine of any other person who was better qualified for this. Later we discovered that the way I was writing my essays, I was shortchanging myself. I was not telling my story as it should be, and I wasn't being as punchy.
Let your essays be short, straight to the point. By the end of the day, make sure the key messages that you want the person to have with him or her after reading that essay, whether it's 300 word or 500 word or 800 word, the key things are stated there and it's straight to the point. So basically, these are the things that read wide, research, make sure you are ticking all the basic requirements that Chevening needs of you. I would also ask or encourage that you have another person or a second eye look at your essays.
Very important.
Before you eventually press the submit button. But the thing is, if you start applying early, then you'll be able to track or correct all your mistakes, cross-check, recheck, and then having a second or third eye look at your essays for you before. And then also ask for frank or constructive feedback from the person that is reading your essays. Don't take anything personal.
They're not going to help you. If they're not brutal with you, they're not going to help you. And I have seen circumstances where I've got so brutal on some people and they think like I'm getting so harsh on them. But after several exchanges, like back and forth, by the time they're bringing their final version, they're maybe the 5th draft, they are so excited, they are so happy about themselves. But when I was sending them to go and redraft for this first or second, they were very angry at me. Be ready to put in the time and be happy to be correct.
And also Chevening, this year they released, it's on their website, so I'll also put a link in the description box, but it's kind of like a guide of what that independent committee actually looks at when you're writing the various essays in leadership. So it shows like maybe if you got these points because you didn't clearly define or give examples of how you have been involved in leadership. So using that document that they have provided and then going hand in hand with your essay and see, did I really actually capture what they were looking for or not? So a point or something that we need to remember is even if you're reapplying, try and rewrite your essay. As Nina has said, try and talk to people, get someone to look at your essay and just critique and tell you what you can change or what you can also add. In describing yourself, what are some of those don'ts?
Gone are the days when saying, I walked for 10 kilometers to get to school, I didn't have food in class, when I went home, I went back and found poor parents and they didn't have that. Gone are those days. People don't want to hear that. People want to hear how that story changed your life to make an impact at a personal level and in your community. And this is how to turn around such a story. Despite coming from a poor background, where I didn't have access to daily food, or where I had to walk for long distance, I was able to get myself to university. I worked hard in school to get myself to university, and I tried, to get engaged in these volunteer activities, and we've managed to go back to our village. And now we are sponsoring 2 kids so that they can get out so that they can expand their horizons like I did. So those are the sort of stories they want to hear. They want to hear what they want to see you as a solution provider, not as someone who is listing problems, because these problems are known. And they're not unique to you.
So what we forget is that you are in Ghana, you're in Kenya, you are in Liberia, South Africa, Nigeria, but you are competing with other people in different countries. And that's one of the beautiful things I like about Chevening, that you are in Ghana, you're applying, but the person in Kosovo or any other, Albania, Tunisia, wherever else, they are filling or competing with you on the same set of questions. You can be anywhere in the world, but still compete with any other person.
After all the back and forth and sending, then I sent out my application, and now it was just to hope and pray and wait. And so I received an email telling me, oh, you've made it through round 1, and I was so excited.
The 3 responses you're likely to get if you apply for a Chevening Scholarship, at least from my experience, you either get it, you're either put on the waiting list because there's no funds,
yeah.
or you don't make it at all to the next stage.
So now it was to start preparing for the mock interviews.
Yeah.
And so here I had to prepare, and one of the things that I am very thankful for is also my family, because my mom and my sister actually took me through mocks, like where we'd come and sit down and, you know, we'd look like it's an action interview setup. I have to dress up, I have to look the part and be ready for it. And so I'd come in and do the interview, and after that they tell me, okay, you did very well here, this is what you need to improve on. And it was a great experience.
My brother also was my mock interviewer, so
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you know the feeling of the tension and how it relieves tension. I think that's what I liked about it, because by the time I was going for my interview, I felt like I was ready, like I'd prepared. I wasn't as scared as the first time when I did the first mock.
Always try and tell people mock interviews are important. It boosts your confidence. It helps you just to know if your answers are quality or you're just gibberish, you know. And
exactly.
Yeah, on my website, CHATWITHKIMOLA.com, there's a whole sample question list that people can use now, because I really want to be able to give back in that way. All right.
That's really amazing. Yeah. So guys, make sure you go and check that out. Like, it's really important to prepare you for the job.
Don't be afraid. Don't think that you're too young or too old, you know, to put in your application. Ask all the questions you have to ask if you have to. And then also do your research. I mean, the best place to go if you are doing your research around Chevening is, of course, the website, but also check all their other social media handles, because I've realized that a lot more of the alumni engages with them more on their social media handles than on their website. So if you want to get people's perspective or anything on the scholarship, it's better I'll encourage you to follow all their social media handles if you haven't done so.
An amazing journey of faith. Actually, that's what I'd say. It was an amazing journey of faith, because sometimes you look at the things that you've done and you think that you're not qualified enough for it. But then if you just have the faith, you know, things do come through. Yeah, so that was my Chevening journey so far.
Document your work, whether it's that short video, whether it's that photo, whether it's that blog article, whether it's getting your work published, you know, even if it's a newspaper article or an online blog. Get your work documented. Get what you're doing documented. It might be as simple as a blog. When organizations are considering you, and perhaps you've scored the same scores with someone else, they'll start checking your name on Google, you know, just to see what is that extra thing that this person has been doing. If they bump on a video about you somewhere talking about the topic that relates pretty much that matches with the kind of person they are looking for, then you stand a higher chance than that person who didn't have an evidence of what they've written about. I should have started with another one. I could now that documenting work is 1, we can go to 0. 0 is to start working. Think of a cause that you want to champion. It can be as simple as mobilizing your friends to feed the street. Start volunteering. You don't need to be in a formal setup for that work to count. Volunteerism counts in a big way in these opportunities.